Oh, you guys have waited for a while, so I'm sure you have some questions.
I know you didn't expect to make any deals today, but did anything come across your desk that made you think a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you never really know what other teams are going to present, when you get close to the deadline. And there were some things that we were certainly contemplating, but, we've had some moving parts over the last, 10 days or so, and we really wanted to make sure that if we were going to tinker any further, that we were doing it for all the right reasons and it really fit with us and not being disruptive. Obviously Tyler's got a chance to get into our lineup tomorrow and get acclimated. Very happy with how Orly and Garnet have come in and been part of it, and so we were trying to be cognizant of all that stuff.
Anything more on either Hall or Firmino as far as the course of action on them?
No, we really, it's just undefined in terms of the timeline. And I said we got our fingers crossed that we're going to see him at some point in time, well down the road, but really undetermined at this point.
Pretty obvious the team is all in for this year with the moves made at the deadline, but the sort of other side of that coin is the collateral you had to spend in order to make that happen. No first-round picks for the next couple of drafts. I don't think a second-round pick in 2026. How does that kind of change maybe the organization's focus as far as acquiring young talent, trying to find other ways to bring in over the next few years, replenishing the prospects you might not have because of the draft picks trade?
All accurate in summary. It puts ownership on the development process, and we have over the years looked at different avenues, whether that's acquiring younger players or whether that's through college free agency. So we're going to have to do a really good job of trying to identify and supplement the lack of draft capital that we have. Doesn't mean later on we look at some of the roster movement that might happen, but yeah, our team, the players in our locker room have earned the right for our club to do whatever we could to give them the best opportunity to take a run.
Don, you did manage to hang up on your prospects. Was it a concerted effort to trade picks instead of prospects, or is that kind of just how these deals come together?
In this case, that's just how they played out. There's certainly a lot of conversations, and at times it's frustrating because you're not offering that, but somehow it materializes as you are. So that's at times unfortunate. That's part of the business, and but there was nothing concrete that said no. We're just we have to look at everything that's available, and every team has to be the same. You just know that you're going to be protective in some areas and adamant in some areas, but overall you just have to try and find a deal, and sometimes that's just what the other team is willing to do, wants to do.
There's been talk of sort of load management as a whole. When you have these injuries kind of start to pile up in a way, does that make you think more about, like, yes, we want to send some of these veteran players so that they're good to go in the playoffs?
I mean, ideally, if we have players that have some wear and tear, you'd like to give them the right time to have a day off here and there. We don't practice a lot in the month of March and going into April. We have 4 days coming up that the guys are going to need a couple of days, but we're going to have to monitor things as we go. We are rotating some of the D-men and getting a night off, so that helps. And if we're in a position to be able to do it, then we will, certainly. I think we have to have an eye towards that.
Doesn't, I don't know, it's obviously hard to pinpoint. What's one of the biggest things you've learned as a GM on how to approach a trade deadline?
I think, there's a little bit of cadence to everybody and how they operate, and I'm sure other teams would say the same thing in regards to dealing with me. I just think experience-wise, I certainly sat in a room, for 10 years previously and have an understanding, but when you're on the phone and making some of the final decisions, it's different, and you have to learn. You got to go through some ups and downs and take your lumps, one way or the other, and hope you're making the best decisions overall for now and for the future. And there are you're at different stages as you're going through it. So there's no question, it's a learning process, and you're leaning on a lot of different people for their advice. Our pro guys, our amateur guys, everybody. The staff did a really, really good job. I have to thank them for their patience with me at times to push the envelope and looking for the information and hope you make the best decision possible. And sometimes you just present late in the game. You know, the Washington situation is probably a great example of that. It's a learning process, and you know, you're going to make mistakes. You acknowledge them, and you try and move on and make better decisions.
Is there a mistake you think back to that sort of stood with you?
You guys have done a hell of a job of pointing those out. So just have at her. It's not going to change my process. You know, stand up here and admit them all day long, but you know, I can't do anything about them. I'm not trying to make up for it. All I try to do is look at the best team we can put in the ice and the best decisions you can make, because that's the job.
For you guys, is there an evaluation process of a certain number of games or weeks or the entire playoffs before you decide, okay, we could see them as parts of next year's team and the teams beyond that?
I don't really think we've got, you know, too much of an eye towards that. I think we're living, but you know, we're seeing a step in you know, Jacob Lauko, in you know, the situation yesterday. He scored 3 goals last year. You know, it was a tough year. He'd admit it, and you know, see the confidence in himself now and the work that he's put in, and the opportunity that he earned. So you really hope that spreads everywhere. To tell you the truth, like again, be where your feet are and go through the process to earn yourself an opportunity. And I want to say that I hope we've been consistent that if a player deserves to be in the lineup now and moving forward, that's what they've earned.
Jim Montgomery said last night that you maybe don't get the credit you deserve for the job you've done as the GM of this team. Does that matter to you at all? Is that something that's important to you, that you know, getting credit for what you've done here?
Joe, you want me to answer that one for me? Yeah, I think you know the answer to that. I only care about, you know, the process, the job that I have to try and do, and there are days when I do it well and other days that I haven't, and learn from it and move forward. You know, somebody else is going to have the job at some point in time, and you know, I'm going to look back and hopefully be proud of the accomplishment. If that's to win, because that's what we're trying to do, then that's all I care about. You know, obviously, you know, I care deeply about the players themselves that have a chance to wear this uniform, because I did. So that's just how it works for me.